3 weeks' time.
Okay. What about you, Reno?
Yeah, the Knights' wheels are going to fall off, mate. Roosters will win it because they suffered that loss last week. They want to bounce back. So, yeah, Roosters.
Raiders, the Tigers there, JT?
I think the Raiders will beat the Tigers. The Tigers are on the slippery slide. And the Raiders will win that one, and they'll beat the Warriors twice in the run home.
What about you, Reno?
No, Raiders be too good for Tigers.
Cowboys, Rabbitohs, JT?
Like the others, I think the Rabbitohs will win that one, and they've got to play the Warriors once more this year. I think they'll win that one too. Keithy?
No way. No way. They might get beaten by the Raiders, but I don't think that, well, who knows. Titans Storm, which is going to be tomorrow there, Reno?
Storm, bro. Storm got this all the way, mate. They're grand final all the way. They're sharp team, mate. You can't. Yeah, they're a good team. Storm all the way.
What I heard is that the Titans actually might be. Is this correct? Might be relocating and also might be rebranding. Is that right, Reno?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
There is some talk about that, Keith. It's been in the pipeline for a couple of years now. Gold Coast, when they first got the licence, were told they needed to be successful.
Right.
And they haven't quite lived up to their expectation yet. And just this season could be the final nail in the coffin. They've got to appoint new coaches. So the candidates in line for that job are Jeff Tuvey and the two Walker boys, Ben and Shane, who've coached Ipswich at Queensland Cup level. And apparently they're a good chance. They've got some good man management skills. They've worked with Wayne Bennett, and they've apparently they interviewed really well, and they should have got the job the last time. But one of the owners stepped in and said, "Nah, give it to Garth Brennan." That hasn't worked for them, unfortunately. So look, the Titans. I live on the Gold Coast. So I've got to support the local team to a degree, and I hope they can turn their season of woe around and get the ship steady. And just not tomorrow, though. I don't want them to beat the Storm, because in saying that, the Storm are resting five big players: Munster, Kafusi, Addo Chambers, and one other. So they've got five big names now. It's a chance to give the younger guys a run around and show that they deserve to be there. But good luck to the Titans. But I think the Storm, man, by probably about 10 to 20.
True enough. Sea Eagles and the Eels there, JT?
Tough one. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be a tough one at home. Manly at Brookvale. Both these teams play the Warriors throughout the year for the remainder of the year. So there's a win each for them. But I like Manly. Manly at home.
What about you, Reno?
Bloody hell, picking on the Warriors. I'll go Eels, eh? There you go.
The Eels. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, last night I was able to catch is it Keeping the Faith documentary. That they showed that on Prime last night. Obviously, there are... How many parts are there, Reno? I saw part one. Three. So I saw part one, and it was just really interesting. You know, it gave you a bit of an inside look, didn't it? Now, I know you obviously watched this back away a few weeks ago there, Reno? Probably you too, JT, I'm not sure. But, you know, it gives you a really good inside look at not just the Warriors themselves, but how a professional rugby league outfit kind of runs, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, it showed you the highs and the lows, where people were in regards to having a team out of this country into their competition was massive.
Yeah.
And look, I know some of the parts that you're talking about where the players just played for the love of the game. And, you know, really was going to sacrifice their income as such, and that did happen in parts of that.
Yeah.
It was a huge struggle. Look, what opened up for me when I watched that, and I didn't realise this, that the Warriors franchise were paying the other teams to come and play them here in our own country.
How is that?
I never knew that. I never ever knew that. That blew me away, and it was quite a significant cost to bring them over to play. And gee, that takes a lot of your money, especially when you're trying to set it up.
I reckon.
And you can understand why they had alcohol branding behind them and everything, because the DB Bitter brand was huge back in its day. But yeah, they've had some tough times and just didn't realise, but that gave me a bit of a shock that you had to pay teams to come and play. I don't know if it worked vice versa. The Warriors got paid to go over there and play in the Winfield Cup back then.
I
don't know, but
probably not. That
was huge.
No, yeah, I don't think they did. I reckon they had to pay both, their fares going over there as well as the team's fares coming over, probably, eh? That's something I didn't know.
I did hear a story, though, that I think the Warriors, to go over there and play in their first year, were paying to be part of the game over there in Australia.
Yeah.
So they were paying teams to come here and play them at I think it was, Ericsson Stadium back then?
Right, yes.
But they were also paying a subsidy to go to the Winfield Cup for them to play another team over there as well. So there was cost factors involved at both sides.
Right.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of blew me away, actually, and opened up to how much money... there was a lot of money involved there, man.
It was a lot of money. And the thing is, it was a lot of money back then. Now, the money is even more and more, I would suggest, There's just an increase, I dare say, in not just expenses, but in income as well, and as well as expenditure. Boy, a lot of money certainly is involved. I had forgotten that Tai Nui had also invested in the Warriors. Great investment there, Tai Nui. But it just kind of fathoms the mind, quite frankly. But also the big game, the very first game itself was something special too, wasn't it, Reno? Now I'm talking to you in particular because you were there and you saw just how big it was, and it was quite unreal. Looking back on it, near on 25 years ago, eh, bro?
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge, marked a special occasion in history for our country to get involved in a predominantly Aussie competition, where most of us from the 80s are watching the NRL. We all had our favourite teams back in its heyday. All the real hard men of the game back in the day, and to have a little team from New Zealand be involved. And we heard about the build-up with it, the bringing in of some great players from all over, Australasia, England, and have that opening with the Army affair and everything like that. And just to go down to a Broncos team who, you remember rightly, the Broncos team were kicking butt back in those days, had some big star players. And so, it was huge. It was massive for our country. And, it was something I'll never forget, Love the league, love the NRL, love the Winfield Cup and everything like that, the Origin and all that stuff. And just to have a team from this country be part of that comp was huge. And then it nearly folded during that
Super League
episode. It nearly went bust.
Yeah.
Until you had guys with finance money, and you could see why they brought Tiny into it, because they got 170 million in treaty, and we knew they had to knock on that door to kind of get some life back into this franchise. And that nearly went bust within the first 2 or 3 years. So, you had your Graham Lowe, now Sir Graham Lowe, Doyle, all these people. There's big investors just to keep it alive. I think players are getting paid something like, was it 50,000 a season?
Okay.
Might be even lower than that. Might be as low as 20-odd thousand. But it was more the passion, the love of the game, and playing for a club that was from this country. So, it was tough times. But no, I remember that night, mate. It was massive. It was huge.
Indeed. I'm sure people that were there will probably never forget it. Anyway, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back with more Full Time. Stay locked on to us for more after this. On behalf of the full-timers, I would just like to say big thanks to Joachim Currid, who brings us our music intro. Check him out on joachimcurrid.com. He's also on YouTube, Twitter, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify, Instagram, and follow him on Facebook. Another big thanks goes out to Silent Partner, who brings us our outro. Check out their music on YouTube. And also thanks must go to the Polish Ambassador for the backing music for this promo. Check out the Polish Ambassador on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Beatport, Instagram, Twitter, and on his website, thepolishambassador.com.
You're listening listening to a podcast produced by Tūrangi FM, #1 iwi radio station in Aotearoa. We play each full-time session on Tūrangi FM Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. You can listen in live on our Tūrangi FM media page. Just click the main Tūrangi FM logo to tune in online. Or if you're in the Gisborne area, we're on the radio frequencies 91.7, 95.7 and 98.1. Also check out the Full-Time Facebook page where you can listen to the podcast again. Make comments and click links that will lead you to other ways to listen to the podcast, such as Spreaker, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, Podchaser and Tumblr. Right, let's get back to the Fools on Full-Time.
Welcome back to our second session here on Full-Time. I want to send another shout out, of course, going out to our sponsors, Rosegreg Motors. They are down there on Grey Street. Now, before we get back into it, I just want to tell you that if you watch out for our full-time podcast, we're going to be doing like a Rugby World Cup special, which kicks off around about September. The first game is on September the 20th. That's for the Rugby World Cup. And we're going to be podcasting practically every single game that is going to be happening during the podcast. We're going to be bringing it to you. It's only going to be a 15-minute podcast about rugby, about the Rugby World Cup. So be looking out for that. You can catch it in particular on Facebook or go to iTunes. Check out the Full-Time. Right, we continue on. Of course, we're talking about our Maori boys. Reno, they're going to be playing up in Rotorua, looking for a bit of redemption, hopefully, eh? What do you reckon, bro?
Yeah, it should be redemption, mate. I think it should be all good, actually, with this Maori team as well. The curtain raiser will be good, the Maori under-20s. That'll be a good game as well. So looking forward to seeing how those youngsters go. And as you say, Keith, the big game to follow this afternoon. Fiji has arrived. Not their conditions are used to. Be a bit wet underfoot, so you mightn't see too much speed. I think the physicality and the size of the Fijian boys might just struggle today. And the Maori boys might get up at home. But no doubt will be a big crowd there, I would guess. Everyone cheering on Bula Bula and the Māori going hard out as well, and no doubt we'll hear Poor Year there as well.
Well, I heard that there were going to be some major changes to the Fijian team and probably a couple of changes to the Māoris as well, so obviously that's probably going to make a difference too, eh?
Yeah, it will do. I think so. The coach will expand. Well, there's a couple more games for the Māori as well, but yeah, one game at a time. Forget about last week in Suva. The Fijians enjoy that, mate, in their sunny weather, and it's not that kind of conditions, unfortunately, here in around just down in Rotorua, from what I understand. But yeah, changing in the team. I'm glad we're talking about this blooming game, eh? Because no one else in the world is talking about it on any media.
Really?
All they're talking about is the bloody All Blacks in Argentina. So glad we can talk about our Māori team and give it some recognition because it deserves it, especially in your area, mate. There's proud Māori players down there, and especially going to Rotorua when you think of the tourism mecca for Māori. So it's massive. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I wish I could be there. I've got things on today, but yeah, go the Māori, eh?
For sure, we're doing.
And they represent their whānau, bro, and they're doing it proud.
Absolutely, and we're doing a special podcast just specifically for that too, eh, Ra?
Oh, we are, Keith, and hopefully, we might get some of our peers in radio joining us for the World Cup specials as well, just to get their take and their thoughts from their areas, because it's going to be one of the country's biggest events, even though it's not been held here, but it is our national game, our national sport, a religion, as they used to say back in the old days, so we're going to do our best to cover it all within, 15 minutes, Keith?
15 minutes, mate.
Hey, yeah, well, easier said than done because, as we know from our full-time shows, give us a chance, we could have gone on for like a whole week.
We can rip it apart, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sadly, Yeah, sadly, we've also got to try, not just that, we've also got to try and cover the Argentina All Blacks game as well. And there's another